Hello guys, this is part 2 of how to draw a dragon, and you should be this far along on after you've done the first part because this is all we've gone over. Should have gotten the main outline and all that stuff. In this part, we're going to be doing the shading and the scales and all that stuff. So, we're going to go ahead and start on the like the scales. If you want to do the shading on the face, that's fine, because that is actually like fine because there's not many scales on the face. But if you want to wait with me, it's your choice. The thing is, I recommend doing the shading after the scales, because if you don't, then sometimes the scales get in the way, because you also need to make the scales have their own separateness, because they don't want to be just like put together on one skin, because they won't look proper. You need to give it good texture there. So, right, okay, we're going to start now. The first thing we're going to need to do is you're going to need to draw diagonals along the body to give it the guidelines for the scales. Around the base of the neck, they should be pretty big, because they get bigger as they go down the body. And they should gradually get smaller as they get up to the base of the neck right there, as you can see. And the neck for the scales is the toughest part, so don't be surprised if you find this kind of hard, because the scales is kind of hard to get together and connect them properly. Right here is the smallest area, so the scales are going to be pretty small there. So yeah, that gives one row of diagonals. Next, you're going to do the same thing, but this way. Make sure the scales are even shaped. Nice, the same diamond shape for all of them, so that it gives them an even look. Sometimes you're not going to follow these guidelines, but they help with the base of the neck the most. Because at the neck, you're going to start having to give your own kind of patterns for the scales, because the scales are a little different and harder to do there. As you can see, they don't merge proper right there. They don't really start looking like scales. You're going to want to just skip that area and just go on to this part. And start making the scales over here. Scale guidelines. Just sort of connect them through. So this fine if this part's kind of messed up, it's fine. So that just gives you the scale guidelines. So don't draw those very big, because they're not supposed to show up much. And you're just going to do scales over them. You don't really need to erase them, because the scales are going to be on there and it's not really going to make a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. You're probably going to want to start up at the top right here and make really, really tiny scales. This part's probably also going to fit within the scale guidelines that you made. If they don't, that's okay. Just make sure they fit down by the neck base. So they get larger as you go down. They will probably look a little irregular at the base, at the forehead and stuff, because just the way they're like. Right about there, starts getting pretty big. Okay. Make sure that this doesn't sort of blend in with the scales. Should separate, because yeah, sorry about that. There's some stuff there, but yeah. So go on and continue. If you want to fast forward this part, that's fine, because if you can do this alone, That's good. You can go ahead and do that. Yeah. So if you want to skip this part, it's probably going to work out a little better. For now, you're going to skip this part, because if you skip this part, it's a little easier. It just is. I don't know. But yeah. So you're just going to kind of skip this part and just go down all the way over here. Because if you do, then it's just going to be a lot easier, trust me. And it's okay if it doesn't follow the guidelines, because it's probably not going to at this point. In this area, especially because it's that neck area like I told you guys. But as you get farther down, just try to merge it in with this part. That's the important part. You still just, even though this may not fit the guidelines properly, you're still gonna want to get them to fit with the rest. So just skip about like a line and start making the scales correct. Like that. Now try to get them to fit with this. However you want to. I mean, just make sure it fits properly. Like that. Now, right about here is when it starts following the guidelines properly. Like so. And then you're going to just do the rest with the guidelines. But first, let's go over here and now try to fill it in properly so that it works. You're just going to do the best you can with this part. So it's just going to be kind of hard to do it at first, but it's going to do the best. It may not fit, and right here, you're also going to want to put some scales right there. Even though they're pretty small right there. And on the cheeks, there are also some scales. They get kind of round and stuff, and they're really light. And they start getting roundish right there. Make it somewhat like that. More about that later, though. Let's see, you have to the curve a little different. The curves won't come perfectly. You know, actually, I think we're going to have to move on to a third video. Sorry about that, but, yeah. So, there's not just 2 videos anymore, there's 3. Just so you know, because originally I planned 2. But there's actually 3. Because we're going to have to probably do the shading and the last bit of details in the next video. But that's fine. As I said, it requires a lot of patience at this point. And don't worry if it looks a little bad, because it's not going to look really perfect at the first time. It didn't for me either, because the scales are kind of the hard part, around, especially around this neck, because they won't fit together as correct as you expect them to. So, but the rest is easy. So just go ahead and do the rest of the scales. Yeah, so you're just going to finish off the scales like that. And just going to kind of give it a quick rounding here. Like just round out some little circles. Because the actual skin on the face is more like a leathery kind of skin rather than a reptilian scale skin. So we're just going to give it that kind of feeling so that it gives it a more dragon feeling. Right here you might want to like add some small scales by the eyes. Because right about there, there's still some scales. Looks like that. And you also have some browns right there. Some small light scales right here too, so that it blends in with the rest of it and gives it a good dragon feel. And also that way this will actually kind of merge with the rest of it, and it won't just seem like it just stopped and then right there it's white and right there it's scales. It just kind of merges and smudges together. So yeah, this is the end of video 2. Video 3 will be next, and in that we will be doing all the remaining shading and the remaining details.